which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Kathy, would you call the roll?
File.
Very nice.
1 minute, Anthony. Anthony, 1 minute, okay?
How are you, Trudy?
This is stuff not.
This was for the pre-meeting. We had the fiscal budget. It was on the web. They said it was posted here. But it wasn't posted in the building, so...
Chairman Anthony DeCincio.
Yeah,
Present.
Vice Chairman Kevin McBride.
Present.
Assistant Secretary Eleanor Yancey. Commissioners Edward Bonsi.
Present.
Josephine Colasaco. She's on vacation. Gertrude Gunther. Present. Philip White.
Yeah.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
The first item on the agenda is the reading and approval of the May 20th, 2008 minutes. And since I was here, I will abstain from
You were not
No,
here.
you weren't here.
I was not here. Any comments?
Only one comment, Jeff Zuckerman was referred to as living in Bronxville. We want to change that to Tuckahoe.
What page you on?
Hold on.
I didn't realize.
Yeah. Page 5?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got the wrong one. Yeah, I was gonna say, you got the wrong one.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I did the same thing, so I got Josephine's. All right. Any other comments on the reading and approval of the May 20th? If not, I would entertain a motion.
That's so moved.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trudy, you're going to abstain also?
And I abstain.
I said aye.
But you're going to
You
abstain,
weren't
you weren't
here.
here.
I
Oh, you
abstained.
weren't here, that's right, you were here,
I
right, yes,
abstained.
okay, it was Eleanor Yancey.
I abstained, yeah.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a public opportunity to address the board. I'd like to thank all of you for attending this evening. And this is the public's first opportunity to address the board. Yes.
Page
First of
5.
all, I wonder, do you have a microphone? We don't hear you too well back here. You might be talking with your big voice, but we don't hear you.
Yeah, the air conditioner.
And I'm sure the
We
people
need the air
sitting behind me don't hear
We're using the facilities of the town, of the
you. Beg
village. rather.
pardon?
We're using the facilities of the village. We'll ask them for a microphone.
Thank you. At least I'm here on the front and I don't hear you. So imagine what the people in the back are listening to. That's my first thing. I come with a list, okay?
Good.
So be patient with me and give me time to speak. Thank you. My name is Ramona
I heard you, by the way.
I live at 6 Washington Street, and I come with my own agenda concerning all the tenants of Jefferson and Santa Gardens, okay? The first thing I'd like to address to the board, I'm glad you got on the parking in the no parking zones at the last meeting that I was here. I think it was like in April, because I missed the May meeting. But the April meeting, I had asked that you take care of that parking, and I'm happy to report it's well taken care of.
Good.
And we don't have that problem anymore. So I want to say thank you for that. Now, with summer coming on, and school is almost ready to close, I noticed, like, the weekends, I think we used to have a guard. And I don't know if it's in your budget to have a guard for a few hours hours on the weekend just to monitor the premises so we don't get that overflow of late night, noise. Because we, as human beings, we like to get a little peace and rest sometimes. But I just would like for you to look into that. And the next thing on my agenda is I'd like to know if you've considered opening Mr. Herbie's Park again, because it's been closed now for a few years. If I make no mistake, I might be mistaken, but his park has been closed for a few years. I know this park is completed, but it says from ages 2 to 5. And that's fine, and I love it, and I appreciate that part. But we have more children over 5 years old than we have under 5 years old. Okay? So if you have anything in your budget that would allow us to open Mr. Herbie's Park again, we would like to see what you could do about that. Because I enjoy sitting in that park up there with my grandson. And he's going to be over 5 in another month or so. Okay. Now, with the building inspection that came around from HUD, since we were here the last time, in my building at 6 Washington Street Laundry Room, there's been a violation in that laundry room since the buildings were built. We had an exit door and an entrance door. That exit door had been closed for 50 some odd years, and there was only one way in, one way out. Had a fire broken out with those dryers, we would have been trapped in there. But the HUD man came and the second door is open. We would like to see that door kept open because I myself don't want to be trapped down there knowing that there could have been a way out. So in a way, I'm glad HUD made their assessment, see what was going on here, because I knew that door was a door, but it was always painted over. And that's been going on 50 some odd years since the building was built, okay? Now, I had spoken to the director earlier about the tree falling in the back, and I got the report, from her. All of that has been taken care of. So I want to thank you for bringing me up to date on that. So that's all I have to say at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything they want to address the board with? Could you stand up and say who you are,
My name is
please?
Judy Becker, and I would like to know why you're hiring a man instead of not letting her be card and work at a full-time job.
Mark will address that.
Well, this is pertaining to a person who was terminated. That this is pertaining to a prior employee, someone who was terminated.
He's not an employee, he was a contractor.
Okay. Well, this really isn't at a board meeting. You don't really discuss the particulars of personnel matters for handling those. If anyone on the board has any questions of...
But don't we, the public, have a right to know? We have a right to know.
No, nevertheless, you really can't discuss the particulars of a personnel matter and the handling of a particular employee at a public meeting. Right. As I said, if any of the board members wish some information, I would suggest you go into executive session for the executive director to brief you on the matter.
Well, I want to go into executive session.
Two of us.
Let's go now.
Let's go.
Motion.
I make a motion, and we go into executive session.
Okay.
I call for a second.
Aye.
Aye. Should vote.
Okay. And do we have to have all in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Please enjoy the air conditioning. Okay, where the board went into executive session. And, I would now refer to our attorney to explain what happened.
Well, just put on the record, the executive session was for the purpose of discussing a personnel matter. There was no action or... The executive session...
Get our microphone.
The executive session was to discuss a personnel matter. There was no action or vote taken by the board. And you should have a motion and a second to come out of executive session and go back to your
I
meeting.
make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
To come back to the meeting.
Come back in.
Now we're going to go on.
He just told you what happened.
Okay, the next, all right, we're still with the public opportunity to address the board.
I would like to the board again from the last meeting about the lease, amendment on the lease that you wanted people to sign.
Oh, I wasn't here, Tommy, but...
At the last meeting, you said that you were in violation of the HUD lease. And you had to make an amendment to the leasing or whatever. You're not, the lease that we signed in January is not in no HUD violations. And this amendment should be voted on by the tenants after 30-day notification with suggestions and what have you. And anything that needs to be done needs to be amended in January next year because the lease runs from year to year. You can't have a contract and then in the middle of the contract break it and decide you want to change it.
Are you talking about a unilateral change in an existing contract?
This is a HUD contract. It runs from year to year, and every year you have a chance to make the amendment. That's when you should make the amendment.
I seem to have an idea what you're talking about, but since I wasn't here, I would have to address this to our attorney. I have a general idea what he's talking about, but I'm not sure.
Only the amendment to
The lease.
the lease. That's what he's speaking of.
Yeah, I know. It seems like he's saying that there was a unilateral change in a lease.
If they wanted you to go over here and sign it and said it was closed for 30 days, I never saw it in the hall.
Irina.
You all know that there was a HUD advisor here from October through January. So HUD advisor, after reviewing the folders, tenant folders, told the commissioners that the lease was outdated. And moreover, in many cases, the lease was not signed many years. So he advised that the housing authority should implement a new lease, and the new lease was taken directly from HUD occupancy guidebook. Now, in March,
1 second, Tom.
at the March meeting, the resolution was passed regarding the adoption of the new lease. Also, I would like to tell you that lease is a HUD requirement, and lease protects the tenants as much as it protects the housing authority. So it's in your advantage to have the current lease signed.
It's not in my advantage because
The lease was I'm sorry, I'm still talking, sir. The lease was posted for public review for over 30 days. All tenants received regarding that. As a matter of fact, the list is still, the copy of the flyer is still on the message board in this building. So the list was posted for public review. There was a discussion at the meeting in March, and the commissioners adopted the new list and passed the resolution in that matter.
If that was the case, you knew in October that this was going to take place, then by January, there should have been something in place for this to take place, not 6 months later down the road with an amendment, because I signed my lease, and I'm not signing a new one until January next year.
You never signed up.
I'm not going to go back and re-sign another lease, because I signed a lease, and my lease is a legal binding contract, and you cannot make me, and I'm not in no violation of no...
Okay, silence. Irina?
It was only an amendment that you had a signing anyway. And you said the old lease was outdated. If it was outdated, why didn't you draw up a new lease and had it prepared for January for the new year to begin?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Instead of just...
Yeah, but according to what I just heard, she's saying the HUD regulations required it.
I'm 26 Federal Plaza, and they said my lease is a binding contract.
Oh, it has to be, I know that, but unless it's against the...
This guy's saying, I think he's like 4 years ago.
We got everybody else.
To get time to get certified.
And the building should have had it down
That's not
there.
what he said. We did have it down there. But we did have it down there.
You had to come here and read it up.
Because Tuckahoe Housing has more than this building.
Oh, yeah.
We don't get anything all about it.
We posted on each building, on each message board. Yes, we did.
No, it's supposed to have
I'm
been.
not with that, because there was no
Do it.
From now on, we will take pictures and bring them back to the...
There was no posting at 31 Millen Place. I look at the bulletin board every day. And I know there was no posting there. You understand? So I'm telling you straight out, there was no posting at 31 Millen Place. So you can say what you want to say, where it should have been, it wasn't there.
So you wasn't there, why you tell people come up here?
I didn't tell people to come up here.
You said, oh, up here.
I just said it's still posted here.
Well,
Yeah, but not
that's not where people live at, though.
We don't care
We don't
no more.
live here, we live down the street.
We're supposed to have posted down there though.
You have all of those buildings on down the street.
This is why we need it. And the commission.
In terms of the lease as to when.
You already did that. You already reviewed it first. You had that.
No, I reviewed the lease, but I want to look at these
Okay.
complaints about.
All right, okay,
Here's the resolution. May I?
all right.
Oh, that's all.
The next,
Anthony.
wait, excuse me.
Just
The
might I
attorney wants to say
suggest
something.
the board approve the lease, perhaps.
Your boss is so kind.
All right, I'll try to talk up.
Being a lawyer.
Well, it's the air conditioning, it's...
Turn it off then.
Turn it off.
No, then you get hotter.
It's not
Already
I know.
It's already hot in here.
I told her that.
All right, give him a chance if
The
please
board
be
had
quiet.
approved the lease. What I'm going to suggest is that if the board wishes me to, I will look into this gentleman's and any other complaint apparently having to do with being asked to sign a new lease during the term or before the expiration of his prior lease. So I will look into how tenants are being asked and at what point to sign the new lease that was approved, and then I can report back, so if there's any suggestions as to procedure or how it's to be done, so that each tenant is given the new lease at the appropriate time, I can report back to you next time.
Thank you very much. Okay, Tommy?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
I'm really trying to get to the, I'm not disregarding you, but we're going to the next item on the agenda.
We still on questions?
You didn't finish with the public.
The public didn't finish with me. Okay. All right, listen, any more, any further, yes.
I was wondering what you were voting on for the 45 minutes that you was going.
Oh, I didn't, he announced that.
I didn't hear it.
That there was nothing that was voted on by the board. It was simply for the purpose of discussion of a personnel matter.
That we can't discuss in public anything about personnel matters.
Oh, so if you
We
fire
could get
somebody,
sued.
you can't know.
Well, we can't discuss it in public,
Okay.
okay?
Right now, I got another question. What about hiring? How does that work?
According to the rule, well,
I understand. I talked to somebody and they told me they had somebody hired for a new position, but I didn't see a sign anywhere in the project saying that there's a position open. How does that work? Refer that to Irina.
yeah, well, I'm gonna refer that to the people that run that, okay?
There was no posting about the job. Why wasn't it
I
posted?
heard that from Kathy. She said they already had somebody in mind. I asked about the position.
Why wasn't it posted?
And I didn't see the sign.
And whoever you got, we don't want.
Suggestions.
I told you. She don't want to listen. She don't want to listen.
I want to hear from somebody that's in the house authority.
Do I have your permission, excuse me, do I have everybody's permission so I could take 10 minutes to take a Valium? I know, but I can't answer all these things. I wasn't here last month, and I don't know what went on. I was in Florida, and I'm trying to go back. I wasn't here.
I think what we should do is refer that to Irina, please.
Yes, Irina, get it.
Okay, so the position was filled by according to the civil service rules and regulations, and we called the civil service first, and they didn't have anybody on the list, and then we did not violate any rules. We consulted our legal counsel when we solicit the resumes from Village of Tuckahoe, DPW, and other organizations.
That's still not true.
No, we don't. We don't.
Yeah, the civil service jobs. They're available.
Civil service jobs, not the regular positions. This position does not require tests, so it's not
Speak in an orderly manner. I mean, we're not at the racetrack here, not yet.
know that.
All right.
But my thing is, this is not a civil service job. There's never been one here. I worked here back in '89. It wasn't civil service day. I didn't need a test. I worked here. I don't think Herb took a test. He worked here. So where's the civil service coming to this?
Special talent.
And they'll explain that to you.
Explain the special talents for what you
It's not a civil service job.
Like I said, we called the civil service, and since this position does not require test, there was no list of people who were waiting for this position to open. And it's all we were obligated to do. The rest of it is up to us. We could have put a notice in the local paper. We could have put a notice here. We choose not to because we already got the pool of resumes that were sufficient in our opinion.
Irina,
Excuse me.
yes.
Come back again, I'm sorry. But how can you get
Wait, excuse me,
if you don't want the job?
can you repeat what you said? Because
We followed the civil service rule. We called the civil service. And when we were told that there was nobody, we chose to advertise locally through the word of mouth. We chose not to post. We chose not to post it. We chose not to make an advertisement in the newspaper because we got the pool of sufficient pool of resumes.
From where?
This is my question. Where did you get the resume?
Village of Tuckahoe, DPW, CAP program.
You can have qualified people here. Why would they give them a chance?
Recommend.
Why would you go to DPW if they're working already?
You know, what are you going to say?
People here that are not
It's
working.
an equal opportunity.
I know what's going on.
No, we did have
I don't
no
understand
one.
that.
We did have no one in the area.
All right, okay. All right, Mrs. Major, I would just ask,
Anthony, you know what we're so upset over?
I have a very good idea.
In there to go into our homes. We don't know nothing about that. If you would have somebody to come to your house to do some kind of work and you don't know doodly squat about them.
They wouldn't even get in the door. All right, I understand that, but I was not here, and
You can't say he wasn't here. It just happened just this 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He got 2 weeks.
no, I was away since the last meeting.
So how much money did you
Wait, just let me explain my position. I'm an unpaid volunteer, okay? Yeah, I know. No, I only get stuff. We make policy, they implement the
I
policy.
understand you're on the board, but if you don't know anything about it, why are you...
No, I don't know anything
Somebody
about.
stand up that knows about it.
Well, no, it seems like nobody does
Because all
know.
you're doing is beating me around the bush.
No, I'm not trying to beat around the bush. I'm trying to say that a problem has arisen that I didn't know about. I was in Florida, and I do my best. I come here 2 or 3 times a week and to try and find out what's going on. I didn't know about this problem. It wasn't told to me.
I'm not trying to put it on you either, because you just told me 3 times. I'm sorry. Have somebody that was here stand up and tell me how they did it. That's why.
Okay.
Bottom line is we did not violate any rules. Like I said, we consulted the legal representative and we found the person who was suitable for our needs, who knew. Wait a minute, I am here to address your needs, not my needs, okay? Exactly.
Respond.
I'm trying to be nice about this.
Yeah.
Hold on.
We all need to sit down.
Excuse me.
Mayor White.
We can't have, excuse me, we can't have everybody talking at
All
one
at
time.
once.
Yeah, we can't
And I don't want
become
responses.
aggressive
That's
as they
just get a
are.
response from the one individual, all right? As question, and we'll give him a response. Then we'll proceed and get the next question.
I think his-
Simple enough. But when we have everybody talking at one time, we can't achieve
I
anything
think he
here.
was concerned about where did we get these applications?
Yes.
You know that quite often people will go to the village and put in an application for a job. And those are the ones that Irina looked at, and from that, she found someone with the special qualifications that we need.
Oh, see, now everybody's answering.
I think it's getting lost, it's getting lost.
Word of mouth. She
Okay.
said she called the village, they didn't have anyone, and she had the resume through word of mouth. She
There
said
you
it
go.
was up to her
Well-
discretion to do what she wanted to do. And that's what she needed to
In any event,
do.
what did happen was that she got the resumes from the village, and from that, she picked out the person with the qualifications that she wanted.
All right. I'm sorry. My next question is, why did you hire a full-time plumber if you need a maintenance man?
It's not a full-time plumber. He's
No, you're not full-time. That's what I'm hearing. It's
It's a
full-time
man with a
plumber.
lot of different talents.
That's a crazy
I've been working on the garbage truck.
And none.
Perhaps, Irina, can
Master.
I think that too. I got them still.
I want to respond.
I know, but this is not a village job.
But you stated that it was a plumber that we hired.
All right, so you did it right.
The man has a lot of talents that can be used here. And not only that, but insists that we have two full-time people.
Why didn't you make it? What tell me that? Because what I understood was,
He don't have no
what I
talent.
understood was,
He do have
what I
a
understood was that they hired Cisco to take care of the work orders and all that talent stuff you talking
does,
about.
yes.
And they hired her to do maintenance, clean up outside. So now all of a sudden, you gotta get another guy to get rid of maintenance then. So who's gonna clean up outside?
That's what I like to know.
The new maintenance guy will take care of outside, as well as work orders that need to be done. Tenants complained that the work orders were not done in a timely fashion. Tenants complained that a lot of stuff was broken or not working properly, etc., etc. So, to address tenants' issues, we found a person who knows plumbing, electrical, who knows how to paint, who knows carpentry, and who knows how to pick up garbage because he used to work for DPW.
Okay, all right. That's enough. All right, can we be civil?
He
All right.
went to DPW for the weekend, for the summer.
All right, I'll tell you what I personally will do there. It seems like there's some, quite a bit of animosity over. Okay.
Stay on it.
Listen, I know Mr. Carden, I knew his father, and I lived here. What I will do, if you'd all quiet down, I'm gonna have a discussion with the executive director this week, and if Mr. Carden is willing to take it, I'm gonna see if we have another spot to continue his employment in another. All right, can I go on? All right, do I have your permission now to go to the next item on the agenda?
I'm still not understanding why it was no sign supposed to. You had to go to each shift to get somebody else. This is not a village position. This is HUD. This is not a village position.
Yeah.
Why should you go to the
Okay.
village to find people?
All right, but I
All
just,
you had to do was put a sign right here on the board, and then somebody in the building could have seen it.
That's true.
All right, I don't understand that. Why go out of everybody else's way
turn the page.
They posted it.
All right, well, Tommy, wait, now, let me just get this straight. I don't work here. I'm part of a board that sets policy, all right? So I can't solve this tonight. I can discuss this with the executive director.
Okay, my question is,
And I personally know Herbie since I was a little kid, the family.
you understand what you're saying is relevant. My question is that you got every other posting out there, from the county to the state to the federal government, on that mobile board, it's right down there. And you got posted there. Now all of a sudden, something comes available here in this village. You got
53 or 55.
black people around here that got the talent, got the education. Because I got 5 college degrees, and one of them is in electrical engineering. So I'm just saying that none of this
Nobody hears you.
All right. Okay, all right. So that's, yes.
May I make a suggestion?
He's gonna, our legal counsel, I'm very happy that he's gonna make a suggestion because,
I'm speaking.
I'm listening.
The suggestion is that the board look into establishing a policy that it will make available to the tenants for the way you will handle advertising of positions when they become available. I think there's a lot of comments on how the board or how the management made a decision concerning hiring somebody.
So that's next time.
Of course it goes.
yeah, well, we can't.
Times to establish a policy as to what's going to happen.
You got already, so everything doesn't really matter what we're saying about it.
Well, no, I just said to rectify it, if there's a position available that Mr. Carden can fulfill, I personally will try and get it for him.
I got you.
When you already let
I didn't hire anybody.
We didn't hire them.
We don't hire anybody.
didn't
We
hire
set
them.
policy, that's all.
The director hired them.
All right, we have to go on. All right, okay. Mr. Carden, I would suggest you run for mayor because you're very well liked.
I can't run.
No, him.
Okay, let's go on.
Next thing, the 4th item on the agenda is bills and communications. I would entertain a motion. You can have a second. You can have it. All right. Are we all done with the first public opportunity address?
So who comes to work on Monday? The new guy?
I'm not.
He still answer the question.
I'm a board member.
You know who's coming to work on Monday?
This is how HUD runs these things.
no, honey,
We got these people.
Is the new
All right,
employee
so-
hired?
Yes.
The new employee is hired and will be appearing for work.
Monday.
The new person is
I'm done.
but I'm not gonna allow him in my house. I don't care what you say.
If you live in any dwelling building, you gotta let people in your house.
I don't care what you say.
I do.
I don't trust everybody, and I'm an old lady, and I'm sure these young people are not gonna trust all of these people coming into your home, new people. Come on, we've had people come in our homes that we trust.
I get my work order done when it's in my house.
Who got the garbage money?
Get this for the
Okay, there's going to be a second opportunity for the public to address the board, and I really appreciate your acclamations concerning Mr. Carter. Okay, can we close that now? And we're going to go on to the fourth item on the agenda will be bills and communications. I would entertain a motion to accept the May 2008 vouchers and checks to be approved in the amount of,
$131,590.
did you hear that? 100 and, how much was it? I would entertain a motion to,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to, breaking that up into B, the May 2008 accounts receivable report. Entertain a motion to accept that.
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
The May 2008 financial statements. I'd entertain a motion to,
Make that motion.
any discussion? I just personally have one discussion about, I read this 2-3 days ago. The only thing I didn't understand, maybe it's something with the accountant. I saw our legal was at 21,000 when we're paying more. Why does the accountant do that?
There was an error on his part.
Oh, it was an error, oh, okay, all right. So I would entertain a motion to accept the May 2008 financial statements.
So moved.
Nick
Second.
White did it.
I
Nick White already moved
Okay,
it.
Oh,
but I was on a
right.
correction, though. I was on the...
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And the final thing is the report on rent collection. And to entertain a motion to accept the presentation on rent collection. You made it, Trudy?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, now, the next item on the agenda is the secretary's report, and I know that there's been some misunderstanding, but could please everyone be courteous and give Irina a chance to speak what she has to talk about. Thank you very much.
MOA progress report is ready for the board approval. Annual plan is ready for the board approval. Admin plan section 8 is sent to HUD for their approval. Architect's contract for 504 conversion is ready for board approval. Maintenance plan was submitted for HUD approval as part of MOA agreement. This is as far as the documents to HUD. Activities on the VCA, the progress reports on both VCAs were sent to Fair Housing for approval. Operating expenditures and budget. Operating budget was revised and rewritten. It is ready for the board approval. Staff, new part-time clerk started on June 10th, 2008 for public housing. A new maintenance repair is going to start on June 23rd. Grants and additional funds, weatherization assistance program, Association for Energy Affordability will be performing an energy audit as a part of their assessment. CDBG, all the application was submitted and we should hear the result by November. REAC HUD inspection. The REAC inspections for the fiscal year 2007 were performed. HUD is reviewing the reports and the final reports were not revealed yet. Architect engineer. Contract is ready for the board approval like I mentioned before. Architect is performing the drawings and is getting ready to bid for contractors. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Kaminsky, so would it be proper now to deal with these two resolutions that were just handed to us before the meeting to vote on them?
No, you have to come to the agenda, wait for the agenda.
Yeah, why don't you wait till
Okay, it's all right. The next item on the agenda will be the attorney's report.
The non-payments are current. Excuse me, current. We have, I think, there is one outstanding judgment and warrant awaiting the expiration of a stay. As I explained in prior months, we try to work out stipulations with tenants who have fallen behind. We've recently had 3 stipulations that tenants had signed where they'd failed to meet the terms of the stipulation, and we've been forced to file warrants and judgments with the court. So we do have the opportunity when tenants fall behind and we go to court to enter into stipulations. However, if the tenant fails to meet his or her obligations, we file notices of default and ask the court to issue warrants and judgments. We actually have 3 of those from past months waiting for them to arrive. It does not mean that tenants will be evicted. However, it is part of the process that ultimately, if a tenant doesn't pay or make provisions, that they will be served with a warrant. I have one other pending matter, not a non-payment, concerning overcrowding. We appeared again in village court this morning. We've been working with the village prosecutor and the building department. We have a definite schedule that involves the tenant temporarily relieving the overcrowding by the end of this month, and then being allowed till the end of August to locate a new apartment and to vacate. So we have court dates, and hopefully the tenants will be able to comply with those so that we'll have a permanent solution to a longstanding overcrowding situation. That's all I have pending this month.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaminsky. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. Would anyone like to make some comments about that? I think that was handled,
Right.
well, the unfinished, I wasn't here last meeting, but I think there was something brought up about the tenants gathering in the hallways.
If I could, I'll follow up on that. Certainly, this, what it is certainly the unfinished, the tenants gathering in the hallways. We put together a resolution only because of the fact of we're finding that, more people was gathered in the hallways, and it's really there's fire ordinances and such against that, and we certainly don't want to see anybody interfere with ambulances coming in or services coming in that might impede the passageway there. We felt that resolution is necessary. We're hoping that there will be no more gatherings outside. We have a beautiful community room, and certainly outside, with the weather being as nice as it is, that they utilize the room and the outside as well. So we put together a resolution, and certainly, Mr. Chairman, we look to have that signed by all the commissioners, if at all possible tonight.
Okay.
Motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion make the motion.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
I need to hold it. I need to see how you're voting. So you'll vote,
So we just go.
White, yes.
Passage. Okay, so all we need is the one copy. and then-
It does.
Yes. One copy, yes.
Brian?
Judy? It's up to you.
Yes. Judy?
I'm voting yes.
Who seconded? You did, okay.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is new business. The secretary talked about the approval of the MOA progress report. A motion to have and accept it. Entertain a motion for that.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And now, moving on to the annual plan approval. I believe that we have papers dealing with that. I'm missing one of my papers.
We need the board to make a motion to approve it.
But my only thing is, how we gonna approve a budget that we just received today?
That is what you didn't approve.
This is
That's that annual
No,
plan.
it's the
That's
annual plan.
It's the annual plan.
Yeah, that's what it is, Judy.
So I'd entertain a motion that we approve the annual plan.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Well, what's so different about, I need further explanation.
Okay.
That what?
What is this annual plan? Exactly what is
An
this?
annual plan.
No.
This is
What is
a
this?
written budget.
That's this?
No, this is not.
Okay, that's what I need to
No,
know.
that's not
Okay,
it.
so a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item,
Okay.
is the architect's contract approval. We have before us a resolution to approve the hiring of Axion Engineering.
What is that?
What, yeah,
They're an
what-
architects.
Well, what?
For what?
I was handed this just before this.
What is
She'll
this?
explain
What
that.
do we need?
What, we got
She's gonna explain it. Yeah, we got this just handed to us. She's gonna explain it.
Okay, we are obligated by the VCA agreement to do the 504 conversion, which means we have to make 4 two-bedroom handicap accessible units and for here. And for that reason, we hired an architect who is very well qualified, and I spoke to different housing authorities in the area, and
You can if you want.
he's actually very affordable, and I got very good reviews on him
Irina, do you want me to?
and his company. And Mark will read the resolution, which will give you more detail in terms of how we're going to pay for his services, etc., etc.
The resolution before the board is Approval to engage the services of Acticon Engineering PC to perform architectural and engineering services associated with the Tuckahoe Housing Authority Capital Fund 2006-2007 HUD 504 renovation at Jefferson Gardens for a fee of 8.25% of the overall cost of the project. Whereas the Housing Authority has publicly advertised for proposals for architectural and engineering services for the required 504 renovation work, and whereas 3 responses were received, and whereas review of the submitted proposals pursuant to the ranking selection criteria resulted in the proposal from Acticon Engineering PC being the highest ranked. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Tuckahoe Housing Authority authorizes the Housing Authority to enter into a contract with Acticon Engineering PC for said architectural and engineering services for a fee of $18,289 or 8.25% of the overall project cost. That's the resolution.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept this resolution. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The new business is the operation, the last item under new business is the operating budget approval. That's it. We had that resolution, another paper, mine disappeared when I went in the room. Irene is going to explain, the only changes on the thing are the hiring of, I believe, the Section 8 and...
Right, to Section 8.
That's the only change.
And the...
Well,
And the new fellow.
And the new
the
fellow.
budget
And the
was done
part-time
at
girl.
the beginning of fiscal year, which was back in October of 2007. So at that time, we had 2 Section 8 workers who are no longer here. Plus, Diane is now working for Section 8, so her salary comes out of Section 8 admin fee accounts. We had to reflect it in the operating budget, plus some changes in staffing like maintenance and such.
What's the difference?
Page 4 is the only difference. If you look at page 4...
What's the difference, the dollar amount difference?
The dollar amount, well, really can look at it
Point out
this
to
way. Let's say Diane's salary is no longer coming out of public housing resources, so we're saving whatever her salary is.
Right, that's what I need you to
So her
point out.
salary comes out of Section 8 accounts. Yeah.
Does our administrative costs go up or down?
Down.
Should go down.
It goes down. We actually save
They're
it.
saving a few dollars.
And I'm missing that resolution, so Mr. Kaminsky, would you mind reading that again? Thank you.
Resolution, the approval of revision number 2 to operating budget for the year ending September 30th, 2000. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the Tuckahoe Housing Authority has reviewed the proposed revision number 2 to the operating budget for the year ending September 30th, 2008, and whereas the Board of the Tuckahoe Housing Authority has taken into consideration that the proposed expenditures are necessary to the efficient and economical operation of the Housing Authority for the purpose of serving low-income families, and that the financial plan is reasonable in that it indicates a source of funding adequate to cover all proposed expenditures, and it does provide the federal funding in excess of that payable under provisions of the regulations of the performance funding system, and all proposed charges and expenditures will be consistent with provisions of law and the annual contribution contract. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Tuckahoe Housing Authority hereby accepts and adopts revision number 2 to the operating budget for the year ending September 30th, 2008.
I would entertain a motion to accept that resolution.
No move.
A second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Right.
Everyone voted yes.
Everyone voted. And the next item on the agenda is the public, second opportunity for the public to address the board.
This is more or less for Mr. McBride and his comment about the tenant sitting in the hall. Emergency situations or fire situations. The chairs you got out there now, I couldn't get a company car fast. These are sitting out there in an emergency
you think that-
situation, they can stand up and let somebody
Do you
get
think-
by.
do you
Those
think-
chairs can't move.
Do you think the bench would have been better?
I cannot get a shopping cart by what you have out there now.
You can't get a shopping cart past there.
My cousin who lives next door has a walker. She can't get a walker past that chair.
All right.
And you saying emergency situation?
Well, let me see if I can correct that.
I think you should.
Well, we'll give it a second. We'll give it a shot. Irina?
Taking up the space.
Maybe what you can do is get some smaller chairs out there, you know?
Talk louder so we can hear.
I said, maybe we can get some narrower chairs out there. Can you hear me?
Another thing, these things, you keep
If you talk loud, you can.
referring to the outside grounds here. You ever try sitting on those wire benches out there?
Bring it-
Try it,
bring it.
especially when you're behind this little old. It's not comfortable sitting out here, and it's not comfortable sitting in here
Is
with
it-
these chairs either.
Is it possible to get a couple of cushions maybe for out there? Maybe we'll get a couple of cushions. And certainly,
Make it possible.
yeah, what do you think? We'll get a couple of cushions.
Do I have any further comments? Yes, could you stand up and...
I live in 42, and you talk about the tenants that stand out here, at least they live here. Where I live at, none of those people live there, and they stand in the halls, they're sitting all over the steps. The ladies lost her son the other week, and the people couldn't even get in and out. And nothing being done about that, but your people out in the senior citizens, at least they will move, they have stuff to move. People where we live at Washington won't even move. You all, wait a minute, you all, everybody come straight to the office. Nobody goes down there and see what the tenants have to go through with. So you said call the police, but we're not paying the rent to the police, we're paying the rent over here to the office. So Tuckahoe is supposed to see if we have a safe environment to live in, not the police department. Supposed to call the police department when we have emergency. That's what the police department for, not to call because people sitting on the steps and you can't get in and out. That's what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not doing it. You volunteer citizens do what you're supposed to do down there.
Get them there, yeah.
But where's the letters going down there? Haven't been none down there all summer.
We will maybe we will be able to hire this person like a guard to watch the place.
You got it.
Yeah.
Well, I just put that in the minutes tonight.
Yeah, it sounds like a very good
We
idea.
used to have a guard. Nobody would even get it out of the building, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Nobody would even move.
I think maybe
All in the hall.
The
certainly that's a good
personnel
idea.
here cannot arrest them, the police can. So that's the reason why you should call the police.
Yeah, but we can't make an appointment on the because this is where we pay our rent at. They supposed to see that we have a safe environment. They supposed to call the police and let the police know what the kids are complaining about.
Every time we have a complaint to us, we would call the police. So the police has to address it.
Keep the mic.
Okay, yes, would you now...
Jeff Zuckerman, I just have a procedural question. I sit on 4 boards right now, 4, okay? And there are people on this board that I actually consider friends. But there's a problem, and here's my problem. My problem is that I don't come to that many meetings, but the meetings I come to, we're always voting on things that you haven't read.
Thank you.
Every night, I watch you vote on things that I was absent, I was there. I'm a teacher. A kid comes in and tells me he was absent. I expect him to have his homework anyway. You can't say I was absent. How many times can you be absent? Listen, I'm not done. There's a procedural problem. On any board that I sit on, watch any of the other boards, the village boards, the town. When somebody hasn't read the material, he abstains. He says, I just got it. I haven't read it. I abstain. It's not proper to vote on something
If you haven't
that
read
somebody
it.
just read to you.
Yeah, well,
That's not how you run a board. I'm
Well,
sorry.
who said it happened?
It happens all night long, every time I'm here.
Well, I never saw you here before in my life.
But we didn't read this. This is a problem.
That you haven't seen or been briefed on or found out about prior to showing up the night of the board meeting.
Mr. Zuckerman will consult with Robert's Rules of Order. Okay, I never saw you before in my life at a meeting. Okay? So I was only missing 1 meeting. And I have a feeling I'm going to be missing some more. If you want to run this with Robert's Rules of Order, We will run it the way it's supposed to be run, but I have a right to take a vacation, and you have a right to express yourself, so noted. Thank you. Anybody else?
You know, it's unbelievable the way you run the meeting.
I know, and it's unbelievable about your agenda, too.
I don't have any agenda.
No, all right. Anybody else?
Mr. DeCindio, I live in this village. You don't live in the village.
Yeah,
I have a police report here saying that they questioned you and they found you don't live in the village. So I can't even believe you're the head of the Tuckahoe Housing Authority.
Well, that's not what they told me. They told me I live here.
Mr. DeCindio, you don't live in the village.
Why don't you just run your political stuff somewhere else
You don't
at
live in the
election
village, you run a
time?
horrible meeting, and people that vote on things that haven't read it, it's unprofessional. End of story.
I didn't vote on anything. I abstained.
It's unprofessional.
And listen, I don't want to argue with you, Mr. Zuckerman. I did not vote on anything I was not here for. I have a right to take a vacation, okay?
Let's go to the next
Any further?
Mary Smith.
Mary Smith?
Yes, Mary Smith, 36 Avon Road.
No, I agree.
I have a question about the agenda item number 4C, which is the financial statement for the Public Housing Authority in Section 8. In reviewing Juma's 990s, I noticed in 2002, the combination of Section 8 and Tuckahoe Housing Authority were owed $262,863. In 2003, that debt was written off as, quote, a write-down of inter-program payable. The problem I have with this is I'm not sure that the residents are aware of how much of the monies, either Tuckahoe Housing Authority monies or Section 8, have been allocated to the speculative project of Juma. It really is a problem when Section 8, according to the Juma marketing plan, in 2005, there were 175 households on a waiting list for Section 8, and 28 of those were seniors. In my mind, this $250,000 that was diverted to Juma would have gone a long way in taking some of those families and seniors who were on the Section 8 waiting list and help them out. That's what the monies were set aside for. The federal dollars, the HUD dollars, were set aside for a specific purpose. To divert that money into Juma, I think is questionable and unethical.
Well,
I think it, excuse me, I'm not finished. I don't think it is respectful to the people in Tuckahoe Housing Authority in particular. I saw in September the HUD report that had a whole litany of problems here. Physical problems in the plant that the people complain about every meeting that haven't been addressed. If that $250,000 was paid back, that would go a long way in providing maintenance that everyone here deserves and has complained about meeting after meeting. And to write that off, I think is a problem. I have requested the Attorney General to look at it. Juma is a 501c3. It's a separate legal entity. It has no claim to monies from this housing authority or Section 8. Thank you.
You're welcome. I would just like to address one thing to you. When Juma was started, I wasn't here. No, I was not. Mr. Bonsi was the board chairman, and they took money to start Juma. Okay, I was not here.
I wasn't
I wasn't here.
All the rats are
Thank
dirty
you
machines.
very much.
All
Does the
the rats are
Roman
just dirty
circus
machines.
want to go on? You want to make the Roman circus
One
go
thing
on?
has nothing to do with the other,
Oh,
Anthony.
I know. And furthermore,
Throwing stones
Mrs.
and casting
Smith,
aspersions.
Mrs. Smith, I would just like to address some of your questions because they're highly technical and legal to our council.
Don't go slandering
I
people,
want to
Anthony.
ask one question.
I didn't slam it. I didn't start it.
Don't
You
go-
signed
Wait,
it.
wait, I want to
You're the
ask.
one that's opening your mouth.
I want to ask a question. I want to know how much money we have been taken from Tuckahoe Housing in the year 2000, between 2006 to 2008, going to Juma as we speak.
That's what she said, zero.
Okay.
And Mrs. Smith, also, I heard you mention something about you complained to the Attorney General. I appreciate your civic duties, and you have the right to do that as well as I do. I don't appreciate that you go all about to newspapers about me and everything else, but you have a right to do that. I'm entitled to an opinion, you're entitled to an opinion, okay? Mr. Blasberg told me that you went to them. I've been investigated by everybody and their grandmother. I am doing nothing wrong, and that's why I'm sitting here. And I think I will be sitting here when you and the political people that are fostering you will no longer be here, by the grace of God. Mrs. Major, yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to address the chair. I'd like to know, has Bronxville given you a list of affordable houses that they have in Bronxville? And do they have any Section 8 housing in Bronxville? How many do they have?
And who's got them?
How many do they have? And I just want
gotta
to know.
go watch my
because
video. I'm gonna
every
laugh
time
tonight.
you hear These things come up about what our housing authority is providing, and I don't know the numbers of what's going on down there in Bronxville, but I just would like to know if they have affordable houses down in Bronxville. You know?
They have-
But that's all I have to say on that subject.
They have projects in Bronxville?
Okay. Yeah, and Mrs. Major, I would just like to tell you, when I have the time to do it, I'm gonna stop foiling everything in Bronxville and Tuckahoe. Go ahead.
Take a survey and let us know just exactly how many affordable houses in Section 8 that they have. And the director said something about Diane no longer salaried from the housing. She's under the Section 8.
Yes, she's
Now,
gonna run Section 8.
She runs Section 8 now.
No,
Instead-
not yet, but she's gonna be.
She started
Completely
already.
running.
Oh, she's Section 8 now. She's no longer, say, like, at the administration like here with
She
the
does
Tuckahoe
both
housing.
for now. She's teaching the new girl how to handle
Talk a
stuff.
little louder, please.
We have a part-timer that
We
Diane
have a
is teaching.
part-timer that we just hired, and Diane is actually providing some training, so she's doing both.
And she's going to be moving into that
Yeah.
position as the head of Section 8.
Not the head.
It's not the head, she's the clerk, Section 8 clerk.
Since it came back to Tuckahoe and it didn't go to Eastchester,
Right.
Yeah,
we are running it.
we took it back.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
never gave it.
They were I was in Florida when they decided to give it away. I came back and I took it back.
You deserve a vacation. I agree with that.
Thank you.
And one more thing I have with what you had on your agenda
Let's stay here.
concerning the architect approval or something, and that we have to
We have to comply with the VCA.
do 4
Yes, in this building.
apartments with 2 bedrooms. I'd like to know if you're gonna uproot the people here to get those 4 apartments established, and what if there are already, like, some handicapped people
Here already.
in place? Why would you uproot those handicapped people who are already in place to make something for another handicap? You already got that one handicap family or whatever it is already in there.
Mrs. Major, that was one of the problems, and I spoke in the Village Hall. This was suggested by HUD that we do this I said, to me, it's sort of ridiculous that I have to take one person and wait for another person to die to make a big apartment. So, but now we signed it. We had no choice. We had to sign the VCA.
But I'm talking about uprooting the already handicapped.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that's gonna happen,
For
is that?
another handicapped person.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Ma'am, can I answer this question? The person, if he or she is handicapped, will get the same apartment, but it's going to be modified for this person in accordance with the federal housing rules and regulations. It doesn't mean that we're going to kick out this person and, they're going to stay in this apartment after the modification. And they're not going to move anymore. So you don't have
If they're
to...
already, if they're already settled and they are comfortable with the handicap that they're in and it's already in place, why would you uproot, say, if I'm in a walker, you're gonna uproot me to put somebody else in my apartment that I've been settled into for a number of years? That doesn't sound fair in nobody's book.
No, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what
if
you're
they're
saying, but...
already settled, just leave them alone and let them be settled.
Mrs. Major, we were forced to deal
No,
with the
not
VCA.
not if they were already settled. Did you explain that to?
Oh, they explained it to us, yes.
They
And-
told you to uproot a family who's
Irina, would
handicapped
you
already?
explain how the VCA
For
is going to
another
work?
handicapped person? Come on, that doesn't make sense.
They're gonna have to
The
take
lawyer
a jackhammer to get
himself,
me out of
I'm not a lawyer,
mine.
but
I ain't
wouldn't
moving.
put no handicapped person into all of that stress. You know,
I
this
agree
is a
with you, but
stressful
we're under court,
that
we're mandated from HUD.
This is my friend. I'm letting you know about. It's a friend of mine.
No, I spoke to the lady that you're talking about, and she actually agreed to move out for a month or so while we modify her apartment. At the same time, we're giving her 3 months credit. She's not going to pay her rent for 3 months. And then she will come back to her own apartment, and she will stay there. We're not going to move her anymore.
She's already.
Hello?
And you were you could soon send somebody into a heart attack or whatever. These are old people.
Mrs. Major, I understand all that, but there was a discrimination suit, and this is what the government had decided that this is the way they wanted it solved.
Well, you might get another one.
Sure,
Might. Okay,
I got a question.
We ain't gonna do no
Can I speak?
of course.
Okay, thank you. Now, to answer her question, she wants to know how many people Section 8 has in Bronxville. Call the town of Eastchester, because their office is giving a breakdown, because the breakdown is not there, it's up at the county. So that's how you don't have to call nobody. Just what you have to do is make a phone call, and one of them two will give you the answer.
We have 175 vouchers,
Okay,
and we're filling them all up.
Yeah, well, it's broken down in the county, sent down to the town, and the town distributes it. So
Okay.
that's how the system goes. That's the answer to our question, so no one will have to...
No, Tommy,
The second question I have to ask you is on your, Part B on the, bills and communications, bond receivables. Do you talk about them? Do you tell us what you receive and don't receive? Are we entitled to that information?
you're entitled to whatever we tell you, and that we have to tell you. We tell you everything that we have to tell you according to HUD guidelines. See, tonight you saw we could not talk about a personnel matter.
Okay, have you received any money from the county in regards to Tuckahoe Housing Authority for offsetting expenses?
The county? Nothing from the county.
Written application,
Oh,
Not yet.
Like I said in my report, we submitted applications and we will not know the result until November.
Okay, we would like to adjourn.
I have one more question.
Good, thank you, Mrs. Major. So I hope to see you next, 4 months from now.
Jeff, so
Are
we
you
can go
not
home.
finished for the summer, are you?
Last month-
Are you finished for the summer?
Yeah, 3 months, I think.
2 months.
2 months, 2 months.
July and
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you in the fall.
Thank you,
Okay,
thank you.
Ms. Major.
Last month I asked a question about people, if people who are living in this building, if they might be able to move into the new Juma building. And And my question is this now, because I wasn't very specific last month. If somebody's paying, let's say, $250, $275, or $300 a month now in this building, will there be an apartment for them in the other building, in the new building?
They can make use of the Section 8 voucher.
Excuse me?
They can make use of the Section 8 voucher.
Make use of a Section 8 voucher. How many Section 8 units are they going to be over there?
20.
20.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion.
Wait a minute, you got another question?
How many are available now?
How many available now?
Yeah.
I mean, what's available?
The Section 8 vouchers.
I heard that there was none. Maybe in Eastchester, but I heard there was none available now in Tuckahoe.
How many Section 8 vouchers available?
Right now, 10 vouchers are not utilized. However, the 20 vouchers that Mayor White is talking about is not going to come out of Tuckahoe reserve vouchers. It's going to be separately issued vouchers just for this particular building.
Are we able to do that?
We are trying to. I cannot guarantee that. So
Why do we have? What is 10 vouchers on hold for presently? Why is that?
We're trying to fill
the program was underutilized for a long period of time. So we're trying to fill these vouchers. we have
So you
people
have
on
10 available, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Herman told me there was none available now in Tuckahoe.
Well, I don't know.
And actually, I asked him that. I asked Herman. She said Tuckahoe vouchers are used up.
Well,
When did you?
I have
There
no...
were 10 available.
So let me get this straight. So when the new building's built, it's conceivable that 20 people from lower income might be able to move in there.
You're right.
Might be able to.
Yes,
But it's
With
true.
vouchers.
yes, that's what it seems to be.
And how many units are over there in the new building altogether?
Going to be 37,
37.
yes.
So 20 out of the 37 are going to be.
So they're making their money
Guaranteed on that.
from
Yeah, that's what we want.
From the
Because
Section
actually,
8
well,
voucher?
That's what we want.
the odds are we'll have 10.
Who owns this building?
We're gonna own it, we're gonna run it.
What we, no, who owns it? I want to know who owns it.
Making the motion.
Not who's gonna run it, who owns it?
Yeah, we made a motion to adjourn now.
You can still answer that question, you don't have to answer.
I'll talk to you after.
Motion to adjourn?
Someone made the
Make
motion
the
to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn? Who made it?
I entertain the motion to adjourn. Mr. Bonsi, would you second it?
Motion to adjourn. How about that? I'm looking at you. Right now.
Pain. Oh, is that my heart? My heart. My heart? No, it'll pass. 911. Could call 911. No, ambulance. Couldn't do that. Sirens. Neighbors rushing over. Embarrassing. Too embarrassing. Maybe I'll feel better later. Oh.
Some people would rather die than call an ambulance. So that's exactly what they do.